And the music's done, so that means it's time to hit you with the one. And we don't have another two. Mr. Dan has been way too sick and busy last week and this week, so it's another no Dan show, man. So I don't have a co-host. And wait, hold on. What's that? Do you hear that? I think it sounds like a plane just landed. Wait, oh, Mr. Trump, you're back again? That's right, Scott. It's okay. I know that Dan's really busy today and he wasn't able to make it, but again, I will go ahead and pencil you in for the evening. So, folks, I don't know if I can stay the whole time here because I'm about to ink this deal with Iran, but I did want to stop in and say welcome back to the TrutherCast, folks. Thank you very much, Mr. Trump. I guess it's time to just go on and hit you with the welcome back to the TrutherCast, the home of the TrutherCast. And me and Mr. Cardboard Trump are here to take your truth order. So if you're not familiar with the show, thank you very much for tuning on in. I am attempting to not be, just some other bloke on the old internet's griping and moaning and leaving you down with the black pill taste in your mouth. Instead, I am the bringer of the hopium. And I have got the independent journalist receipts to back it up. We've even got some governmental receipts to back that ish up this week, to folks, because, we got Nick Shirley, covering Skid Row. We got one of his, idols, Mr. James O'Keefe covering Skid Row, where James O'Keefe even gets straight up felony fraud voter payments on camera. And so we got that and a whole bunch of other wins going on today, folks. And we're going to run down the whole list from last week I was posting about in the locals community. And, we do it in a little bit more of a quick fashion. I don't like, circle talking around and just wasting your old time. Even if you're a troll, welcome back to the show, Mr. Trolley. I'm glad, you showed up. Yeah, just already talking about stupid stuff. So, find another shtick, buddy. But anyway, we'll be going through all of those things. If you are a frequent flyer of the show, thank you so very much for coming on back. And thanks for, chiming off in the live chat down below. Looks like my Rumble video is going to be broken today. I wonder if it's working for everybody else. Are we coming in okay there on your end? Is it just my my tablet device here? It looks like maybe the interwebs is having problems. It's looking kind of fuzzy on the live feed. Maybe Rumble's having a rough time on the back end, but thank you very much for coming on back, folks. Yeah, bro. So how would you think that Trump is a pedo, bro? So the trolls, going off again with the the lamestream deep state media, sound piece, calling Trump some kind of a pedo when actually the documents were released. And Scott, let me take this one. I told you very many times, folks, the files were released, and in the files, I am actually the one who called the police and said, hey, somebody's got to look into this Epstein guy. Everybody knows what's going on here. And actually, they need to look into the Ghislaine even more because she's the operator. I don't want anything to do with what they're doing. I talked to Epstein a few times. He was a real mover and a shaker in his time. And I thought it might be a good guy to make some deals with, but I turned out to be wrong, folks. Very, very few times in my life have I been wrong, but that time I was wrong, folks. So that time I said, hey, no more Epstein at Mar-a-Lago. And that's when I kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, that's right, man. Like, we know how the story goes, but people that have TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, just don't get it, and they just keep kind of repeating the same shit over and over again. But facts don't really care about, Trolley's feelings. So we're going to go ahead and get into some more facts of the week, folks, which will probably hurt the troll's feelings because it breaks his brain. His his hamster wheel just don't spin too good, because all of the facts are pretty simple. And right here, we can get started off with our good friend of the show, Mr. Stephen Miller, who is pointing out that, the deep state media that like Trolley and the other, extreme libtards get all of their information from is such a bunch of liars that, you'd probably think differently if they actually posted the truth here.
Achieve something that if you had predicted it 15 months ago, people would have said it was impossible. If you had said 15 months ago that we would achieve the lowest national murder rate, not in 5 years or 10 years or 15 or 20 or 30 or 40, but in 125 years, nobody would have believed it possible. And President Trump did exactly that, and it is a miracle. Just think about this for a second. Under President Trump's leadership, the largest reduction in murders in American history, the largest reduction in violent crime in American history, the largest reduction in drug overdose deaths in American history, the largest reduction in fentanyl in American history, the largest reduction in illegal immigration in American history, and the largest number of criminals arrested, removed, or deported in American history, all done in 1 year. I would just say this, if we had an honest media in this country, the statistics I just gave you would be 24/7 on the news. Nobody could have ever predicted such an achievement would be possible. The second thing...
Yeah, who would have thunk it? If we, like, get people in and then they, like, do their job get done. It's almost like the story that's going around here right before the show that I slapped in here. It's almost like this one, man. So the dirty Democrats are trying to shut down the government so it makes Trump look bad, and then all the headline reading ding dongs like Trolley here in the chat will just oh, read the headlines and I believe the headline, right? So, now TSA is not getting paid, and oh my God, the lines are going out the door and everything, and oh my God, Orange Man bad. And so, well, Mr. Trump, was pretty clever. I'm very clever, Scott. Yeah, right, for sure. And he, sent in the, ICE agents and also National Guard, I believe, over to aid the TSA in doing their job while they're not getting paid because of the dirty Democrats. And what was the result, folks? Well, just like the Trump admin and Mr. Stephen Miller told you, the job actually got done.
We can take a deep breath here. The numbers have dropped off. The lines are getting shorter. I think the average wait time now is under 40 minutes. So if you have a flight to catch today, it's a good time to come to Hartsfield-Jackson International. Finally, we can take a deep breath.
So you get people in there that, care about doing their job well and looking good because they did the job. And what do you know? Job get done. So this is, like he said, something in Atlanta, so like one city in Atlanta, right? Well, we've got like another one, which I imagine this is probably like every city that TSA, that ICE got sent to help with TSA, but this one's in Florida.
And the wait line looks like this. In the couple of hours that I've been here, I've seen ICE officers patrolling, and the line has looked the same since I got here. Completely empty. So if you see wait times go down while you're traveling, you may just want to thank an ICE officer. Earlier this morning, travel...
Straight up, bro. So here's one in Florida, well, what do you know? The ICE shows up and all of a sudden, job gets done. It's not a bunch of, entitled TSA workers, dragging their feet and making shit difficult. So very, very strange that all of a sudden there's just no wait times, man. Crazy. What up, Dinosaur? Mr. Dan showing up in the live chat. Welcome to the live chat, Mr. Co-host, at least, Well, Trolley, how are you going to come in here and talk a bunch of stupid nonsense and then talk shit about how live chat is popping? Because why would anybody want to engage with your dumb ass, bro? So, again, you're just showing how ignorant you are. Why is nobody talking in here? And then you just spew a bunch of, nonsense, dumb stuff. He couldn't even... How long has it been? Where's the timer? 14 minutes. This troll made it 14 minutes before the mods took him out. Good job, mods. I'm tired of loser talk, bro. All we are is here for the winnings, Scott. The winnings, all I do. I'm going to ink that deal with Iran. It's going to be fantastic. Actually, if you don't mind, Scott, could you pull up my press talk the other day? I was in front of the Air Force One that I just landed in. It's such a great plane after I fixed it up. It was almost disheveled, one may say, until I took office the first term, but it's really nice now. And so, yeah, pull that clip up for me, would you, Scott? Yeah, no problem. No problem, Mr. Trump. I got it right here, buddy. I actually thought it was really funny how you went like Gen Z talk, right? Or like, it was like, I don't think this is a millennial one. I thought it was hilarious when you dropped the low key, right? That's right, Scott. I said, all I want from Iran is no nuclear bomb, no nuclear weapon at all, not even close to it. But also, I want, low key on the missiles, folks. I don't want you to have a lot of missiles, a medium amount. I want you to have a low key amount of missiles. Most def, brother. That's what's up, dog. So, Mr. Trump here, man, cracking me up as usual. He said low key on the missiles.
From these talks. Taking CNN over Newsmax. You believe it?
What are you looking for in these talks, Mr. President?
We're looking for all of the things that we've been talking about. We want to see no nuclear bomb, no nuclear weapon, not even close to it. Low key on the missiles. We want to see peace in the Middle East. We want the nuclear dust. We're going to want that. And I think we're going to get that. We've agreed to that, yeah.
You've been hanging out with Barron a lot. Low key on the missiles, he just said. That's hilarious.
We've agreed to that.
You want the enriched uranium before you can end this.
We want no enrichment, but we also want the enriched uranium.
So you can't make the enriched uranium? And we're going to take what you got, by the way. Yeah, we're going to take that,
If this happens, it's a great start for Iran to build itself back, and it's everything that we want. And it's also great for Israel, and it's great for the other Middle Eastern countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, all of them, Kuwait, and Bahrain in particular. So it's great for all of them.
Mr. President.
That's right, Scott. It's great for everybody. I love making good deals, and a good deal benefits almost everybody. Everybody's going to be benefited, except the extreme crazy Islamic regime. Those crazy people that have killed thousands of people, probably maybe even thousands of people, thousands of Iranians and other people from the Middle East, and even thousands of Americans. It's not good, folks. It's not good. Yeah, bro, it ain't good at all, dog. So, like, I hope you close that deal, and get Iran to kind of like, agree to back off or something, bro. But, I'm sure the other, truther tribers in the live chat, it's kind of hard to believe that they'll even follow through with the deal. You know what I mean? Like, what do you guys think? You think they're gonna actually back off after we bomb the shit out of like pretty much everything already? Or do you think they're thirsty for more? Very interesting. But I guess Trump told Secretary of War, hey, go ahead and put that on pause for 5 days until we lock in this deal. But if we don't lock in the deal, then he's probably going back to the thread he made. I think it was like Saturday, where Trump said, hey, 48 hours, if we don't got a deal, I am going to start bombing again and just go right after the largest power center, So say, man, probably time to step in line, Iran, and get your ish together and just stop being, the world's jerk. They're kind of like the world's bully, right? When, the bombs first started dropping, right? Well, what'd they do? They just started shooting missiles off into other countries, like a scared little baby, like, oh, we're going to go commit more terror to try and, stop the guys stopping us from doing terrorism events. Like, they're clearly not very high IQ kind of folks, right? What are you going to do? If, not lately, you have been reminded of how corrupt the deep state is, or maybe you haven't been reminded how shady the Illinois government is, or, maybe, I don't know how long, maybe like it's been 7 days since the last episode of the TrutherCast Live, that you've been reminded that the 2020 United States presidential election seems to be extremely blatantly fraudulent. We've got this week's reminder for you folks. We got Mr. Rhino Dick Durbin, who's opposing the Save America Act, or, everybody shortened it like the Save Act. So it's the voter ID law, right? Like it's the talk of the town the last couple weeks, right? So our great, Rhino in office, Mr. Dick Durbin, he's opposing this Save Act, right? Well, this guy over here on X did have some very interesting numbers for us. So get out your calculators. Where's the TrutherCast accountant? Is the TrutherCast accountant in the live chat yet? He's late to the show. Good Lord. So bust out the calculators here, folks. I got some quick paper napkin math for you, okay? Okay. So this guy over here on X, okay? So he says, all claims of the internet, you could look this up or some shit later. All the receipts, folks, if you're not familiar, all the receipts are in the description box down below. And all you got to do is go there and you can click on the receipts and go over to the website. And, right there, you got the blog post and it's got all of these. You can look into them even more. Okay. So you look into them and you'll read this one. In 2020, according to the United States Census Bureau, they estimate that, Illinois had about 9,088,000 voting age citizens. Okay. Let's just say 9 million. Okay. Illinois reported 9.78 million. Okay. So that's 789,000 more people registered to vote than the census, says we have. Now, I don't know how the census works entirely. So, I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't fill out the census, but then I believe, they're probably doing some estimated stuff, which is probably rough ball math. So maybe it's not the greatest, maybe they were 1 million off, right? But minimum, it does not look good on numbers, folks, because in 2024, Kamala Harris won Illinois by only 600,000 votes. So Illinois counted 1 million mail-in ballots. Illinois reported 687,000 voters on permanent mail ballot voter registration. And the 687,000 mail-in ballots don't require voter ID. Like they just don't need a photo ID at all. So 687,000 mail-in ballots, and Kamala won by less than that number. So what that means, if you don't get it, is that Kamala Harris won Illinois in the frickin' presidential election by less than the mail-in ballots. The permanent mail-in ballots were greater than the amount that Kamala Harris won by. That means it was extremely possible. We have no idea if it's true. We don't know if it's 100% accurate, but it's 100% possible that if every single mail-in ballot from these permanent mail-in voter registrants peoples was for Kamala Harris and potentially fake because there was no photo ID needed, that's what won the election. So call me crazy, possible fraud. Let's investigate into that further, I'd say, at minimum. I gotta get my good minimum. It seems a very, very, very close there to be not questioned, in my humble opinion. So I can't believe Kamala Harris only won by 600,000 votes in Illinois. That's crazy, right? Like, god dang. They did not cheat enough, man. I'm telling you. Too big to rig, we made it. We flipped Rockford, Winnebago, right? Winnebago went Trump, right? Mr. Dinosaur, do they say how many mail-in ballots were voting for Democrats or Republicans? No, they didn't even break that down, right? He was just he was just pointing out that, like, hey, the census said 9 million, and then Kamala census said 9 million, and then voted or registered to vote were 9.8 million. So a whole 0.8 million. So 800,000 people were registered to vote than the census estimates even live in Illinois. So, the census could be off. Hey, a bunch of people could have like moved in and immediately voted, or maybe not immediately. Yeah, no, it was 2020 numbers and 2020 numbers. So, like, hey, people could have moved in and registered to vote after that census estimation, but very interesting. And 1 million votes were all million votes were mail-in, and then 687,000 of those mail-in are some kind of a special permanent mail-in ballot voter registration list. So, like, is that like, like people that are like straight handicapped or something? So they're just on like a permanent mail-in ballot list. But either way, bro, the 687,000 people don't require photo ID. So, like, yeah, sure, some of it's legit, bro. Some of it's like, grandma that's like crippled, or like, maybe some United States veteran guy that's crippled and he signed up for permanent mail-in voter status. But if the photo ID is not required, it leaves the door open for any Tom, Dick, or Harry scammer to cheat the vote system. Like, just ridiculous, bro. We got to get that stupid SAVE Act passed. It's absolutely bonkers that we don't require photo ID hard, dude. Call me crazy. Don't make no damn sense. Quick one here. Just earlier today, Mr. President Trump and Hegseth have announced full bennies for National Guard troops, man. So equivalent to those that are active service members. So, hey, I don't know if you could say any other president loves the damn military more than this dude, bro. I don't know. That Hegseth guy was a great pick, bro. Everybody was talking ish about him, but he turned out to be pretty successful thus far, bro. Take a former military guy that talks well and, was able to do like a Fox News host, position. And, he's got the morals and the values of what the military people want and what the United States military might need, And it seems like they're doing very, very well. So that's pretty awesome, man. National Guard. National Guard is now getting full bennies, just like active members of the military, bro. It's another win, I would say. I would agree, Scott. It's another win. It's a huge win. All of my wins are very huge. I don't know if I've ever had a small win. That would be kind of weak. I think I like huge wins. I agree, Trump. I agree. Yeah, huge wins only, bro. Like, why go small when you could go huge, right? Another honorable mention here. But let's hold full excitement till later. Let's wait till the Supreme Court vote actually goes through, and I'll cover that on whenever that happens. But news squawking on the internets today. There is word that 29 states could see their laws allowing mail-in ballots to be counted after the election day completely overturned by the Supreme Court. Pray to God that this one happens. How in Lord's name is it allowed in states to just take votes after the election day? Like, I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. And sure, like, you can try and argue like, oh, what if there's like an accident with the mailing, or nah, dude, if you're going to mail in vote, bro, send that ish in early, bro. You should just know, bro. And, like the analogy is just like Justice Alito said, how he said Independence Day, birthday, election day, they are all particular days. So if we start with that, if I have nothing more to look at than the phrase election day, quote, quote, I think this is a day in which everything is going to take place. Like, straight up, bro. So like, it's not like when you send somebody a birthday present, like it can show up a day or 3 late and you still send it to them on the birthday. Nah, bro, you didn't. You missed the deadline. Okay. So just like election day, if you didn't get your vote in on election day, you missed the deadline. Sorry, man. Maybe we count them, but they don't go towards the official vote. And then you could have numbers and you could show, well, if we counted the people that screwed up and didn't get the deadline right, well, then that would have flipped the election. But since it didn't happen, it's not happening, man. So pretty cool, man. That'd be a big deal, bro. 29 states also, what the F? 29 states have this handicapped rule. Like, what in the what? 29 states have a law that says that you can just count mail-in ballots after the election day, bro. Like, nah, man. Mail it in on time or GTFO, in my humble opinion. God dang. Like, do it on time, bro. Get out of here, bro. And then if you're mailing it in, bro, it's like the United States Postal Office. So feel like, that should have like special treatment or something, right? Like, get the election ballots in on time. Biggity, biggity, boom, done. Like, you've got one job. Get the effing mail in on time. Problem solved, I think, in my humble opinion. Oh, man. And like we needed a weekly reminder of voter fraud, which is probably a lot of that in this episode. It's like the whole damn show every week. Like what would we be doing if we didn't, show this week's reminder that January 6th was completely orchestrated and an inside job? We got Kash Patel citing some real hard facts here this time.
Some Republicans, Mr. Director, argue that Nancy Pelosi staged January 6th and the Select Committee covered it up. Based on what you personally know, what are the verifiable events in the lead-ups? And I know you don't speculate, you just deal with facts.
I'm in a unique position. Remember, I was Chief of Staff for the Department of Defense on January 6th. We were responsible for the deployment of the National Guard. And what I was forced to testify to years ago at great personal cost has now once again, just like Russiagate, been proven true because all I do is speak the truth. On January, actually in the days before January 6th, we were in the Oval Office where the President Trump at the time, authorized, pursuant to law, up to 10 to 20,000 National Guard. We took that authorization because the law is
10 to 20,000?
at great personal cost, has now once again, just like Russiagate, been proven true because all I do is speak the truth. On January, actually in the days before January 6th, we were in the Oval Office where the President Trump at the time, authorized, pursuant to law, up to 10 to 20,000 National Guard. We took that authorization because the law's second part required a request from who? Nancy Pelosi and the Metropolitan Police. And the mayor at the time. And what did they say? No. And remember what happened for the next 2 years? They say, oh, Kash is lying, Trump's lying. And what did we find? Letters of their declination of the National Guard, refusing to have the National Guard show up. So all I can speak to is the facts. And the facts are those plus this. Nancy Pelosi and her team were busy filming a movie on January 6th while this so-called chaos around her was going down. If she had, just look at it this way, if she had said yes to the National Guard and we had 10,000 uniformed military officers establish a secure perimeter, do you think January 6th would have gone differently?
It is intriguing that 250 FBI plainclothes agents were inside the Capitol on January 6th.
Yep, seems like all them there tinfoil hat theories seem to be very, very, very true. Folks, don't be lazy. This is a damn good one to share out, man. You got to show more people on the effing timeline, bro. Like, if you already know this shit, bet. That's why you're here watching the TrutherCast, man. But share this out, man. Don't be a ninny. Share it out on the show. And if you're still a flipping ninny and you can't share anything like this public on your Facebooks, share it to somebody in in the DMs, man. Share it to a friend, family member, or somebody that needs to know this ish that's in the middle and handicapped, bro. Share it to somebody that's losing faith in effing Donald Trump and the Donald Trump freaking administration, bro. Share this to your brother, sister, cousin, mother, somebody that is saying like, well, the Iran thing, man, so he's not doing what I wanted, bruh. This dude's doing every damn thing he can. Not to mention how he lost the whole election on an incomplete, fraudulent, set up an orchestrated event that was January 6th, bro. Absolutely flipping ridiculous. And the other one, man, I didn't even hit you with the, like, Trump got us all off, off our freaking, roll here in the beginning, man. But you got to do your work for the week, right? Share the show out, man. Like Mr. Dan usually says when he on the show, you got to make sure to not be a hoe and share the show, because get the awareness out and help more people find the damn realization, folks. Because absolutely bonkers, right?
I saw the president's tweet to get to the bottom of it. Who placed them there? What were they doing? Were they inciting violence? What can you tell us, Mr. Director?
This is a great example of the president's initiative to solve all the answers on January 6th. And it's another example of our transparency efforts. Pursuant to the president, we investigated the matter and found out why FBI agents were placed there in the first place. And it turns out we found documentation and witnesses and whistleblowers that said we were forced to go there to do riot control. Armstrong, do you know what the FBI does not do ever? Riot control. We don't do that. So the prior leadership sent 250 some odd men and women into a situation they're not trained for, put them in harm's way.
Bro, so Christopher Wray literally sent 250 plainclothes, AKA undercover FBI agents there, and then turned away 10 to 20,000 National Guard. Why? Why would you send 250 undercovers and then turn away 10 to 20,000 regular looking security people? Why?
Put the individuals out there in harm's way. And also, those individuals have collectively responded or said beforehand that they were forced to go there. They didn't volunteer to do that.
And you believe them?
That's their word, not mine.
Bruh. Straight up, dude. Nancy Pelosi literally turned down the National Guard, and there were 250 freaking undercover cops in there, dog. And then, how do you prove that, any of them weren't riling things up? If you're a longtime, viewer of the show, I have shown you countless amount of times where there are weird people dressed up either in plain human clothes or the tactical gear doing some weird shit, bro. My favorite is a dude all dressed in black, looking real military specced out, and he was the one that popped the window and then clears out the edging so somebody could go through it and then backs up. And then some dude's filming him do that, and he realizes it, and then he starts like acting like he doesn't want people to go in, and then people start going in anyway. Like, come on, man. Come on. It's like, yo, I got some swampland for you if you believe that ish, man. Only people that believe that, bro, are headline lemmings. Just the people that read the flipping headlines, bro. That's it, bro. Absolutely insane. We got good news over in the Senate, I believe. Yeah, U.S. Senate. Good news on getting us a new DHS secretary. Now that Kristi Noem screwed up and she's been demoted and repositioned in the administration, we've got the Mark Wayne Mullen, who has now advanced with a nomination, and it is a 54 to 37 vote. So I think this means it's like almost all but sure. Oh, wow. John Fetterman joined the Republicans. All right. My mom was thinking like, yeah, dude, it's only a matter of time before that guy changes his, affiliation officially. Yeah, is Rumble like broken? Yeah, okay. It's 9 o'clock. Yeah, the Rumble looks like it's working, but it's definitely very broken, being all glitchy. I'd hate to say this. The home platform is the freedom of speech platform that is Rumble. But if you are having a rough time on Rumble, you can also watch the TrutherCast on the YouTube. We do also have a YouTube feed. You can find it at TrutherCast.com. You got the YouTube link right in the top right corner or up at the top, I believe, if you're on mobile. And then you could just search it on YouTube as well. Live chat, are you there? I need to figure out how to get the YouTube live chat over here on the Rumble as well. I'll have to figure that out for later. But video working for y'all? Looks like it's still rolling for me here. What do we have next here? I said the only reason a state would not want to give their voter rolls for verification to the DHS is, like, what would that reason be, folks? Like, I don't know, man. It might be because they already started finding weird, fraudulent bullshit. Yeah. Crazy.
Beginning of this administration, we asked every state, red and blue, to share with us their voter rolls so that we could scrub it against the DHS file of illegal aliens to remove illegal aliens from their voter rolls. Every blue state refused. California refused. Minnesota refused. New York refused. In fact, they sued us to stop us from removing illegal aliens from the voter rolls, removing non-citizens from the voter rolls. But that's not just the only thing. They don't want to get dead people off the rolls. They don't want to get felons off the rolls. They don't want to get out-of-state voters off the rolls. They don't want to get double and triple voters out of the count because they want the fraud. Yep. This is the most important issue, Sean, because the Biden administration brought 20 million illegal aliens into this country, and this is the way, the only way, to keep them from participating in our sacred democratic process.
Yeah, dude, 100%, bro. They don't want to get none of them peoples off. I also think it's just interesting, folks. During Biden, like all the mainstream media was like, oh, the official people over the border is like, 5 million, maybe 10 million. And we were always saying, bro, like, dude, it's probably upwards of 20 million, 30 million or something like that. And now that, Sanity is back in office and then, like the mainstream media has just, lost the battle on that one. Everybody says it was at least 20 million people that came over the border illegally during Biden admin times, man. Like, God dang. So, yeah, why would a Democratic state not want to share the voter rolls to be cleansed with the criminal aliens? Why? Why? The only answer I can come up with, folks, is fraud. They want the fraud, just like good friend of the show, Mr. Stephen Miller, was saying. Do you have any like, devil's advocate ideas of why? Like maybe I'm just, super biased. I can't think of one legitimate reason. If anything, it'd be like, oh, they're gonna like cheat. Oh, it's corrupt Trump admin and they're going to clean off like legitimate Democrats, from the voter rolls so they can cheat in the election to like, do projection basically. That would be the only argument. Oh, the Trump admin's going to commit fraud by, getting rid of like, the legitimate Democrats. Yeah, dude. Then you debate with them and go, hey, look, these ones are legit and you remove them. That's bullshit, guy. We're going to need to put the legit ones back on. But okay, sure. This million or more of criminal aliens and, fake voters or, whatever the other ones he was saying, like triple voters, double voters, okay, yeah, those can go. But hey, we caught you trying to get rid of legitimate ones, like call them out on it, dude, if the Trump admin's going to try and commit fraud and then run that story with facts. But, the mainstream media and, dirty Democrat states don't really know how to deal with facts. Like they don't even know how to use them. They don't even know how to use them to their own benefit. So, drop it in the live chat or, drop it in the comments down below if you're on the replay. Man, what do you think is a legitimate reason why the dirty Democrat states wouldn't want to go ahead and let their voter rolls get checked out, man. Wilkins saying, is the Rumble working for you yet again? I don't know if it's coming back in here or not, folks. What's going on with the live chat? It looks good on my end, man. I got it rolling. It's being glitchy, but it looks like it's straightening up. Well, Scott, it must be that your show's just breaking Rumble. It's filled with so many truth bombs, so much receipts that it can't handle it. I know there's a lot of good Trump people on Rumble. It's a great platform. Mr. Dan Bongino, the former deputy director of the FBI, he's a big Rumbler. He's invested in Rumble as a good guy. He's one of the founders of helping Rumble get up and going, I believe, or early adopters, maybe not founder, but Rumble's a great platform. You've got the Timcast on it. You've got the Dave Rubens on it. You've got the all sorts of great people on it. Rumble's great. It's fantastic, folks. Yeah, I totally agree, man. I just hate when it's glitchy, you know what I mean? But every tech platform has glitches and whatnot. So hopefully it's stabilized and I'm coming in good and loud and visible for you. But it is a good time, if you're refreshing that Rumble app, make sure you hit the follow button down below. That way you get, notified next time we going live next Monday night on the TrutherCast. And then, you got that receipt blog post in the description box down below. All the receipts available. So you can look into it more, or you can share them out, not be a ninny pants. Put a little bit of effort into helping the good fight, man. Help more people find the awareness. Share it to the friends, the foes, the middle and the roads. You know what I mean? Next up here for you, man, we've got a good feel-good story. And, the point of this one, in my humble opinion, is that, these stories do exist. Okay, so, maybe we don't got, a whole bunch of these stories. And, the people in the chat were kind of bitching and moaning about how their official United States, residency took way long and blah, blah, blah. But this is a story of a Mexican man. He is self-deporting to attend his immigration appointment with no guarantee he'd make it back home to the kids that, he had to leave everything in God's hands, right? 2 weeks later, he's reunited because the prayers were answered. His permanent residency was approved, and now they finally get to start the new chapter together because leaving the kids would suck. Yeah, bro, so good call. Self-deport, do it the legit way. Hey, man, my bust. I made a mistake. Let me get that $2,600 for free. And then I don't know why, man. I didn't get no other details on this, of why it was just 2 weeks later. So maybe he had the paperwork in the pipeline already or something. But looks like a big, happy celebration when he did the right thing. And it just means that much more, bro. When you cheat, you lie, you steal, just doesn't give you that kind of a good, feeling. When you do things the right way and, they're tough, you get a little bit better of a good feeling. Call me crazy. Yeah, it's just like emotional music. So the stories do exist, and I love sharing these out. Right there on my X, you can follow me at Mastache, 3 S's in a row, 4 in the whole word. You got the link right on the website, and you can find it. But you follow me, and you'll get all this stuff in real live time, folks. And then we'll go over it on the Monday night show. So make sure to follow me over there on the X. You got to share it out, folks. Make sure everybody gets it. What do we have next? Oh, man. Yeah, dude. This is so okay. Oh, what? One of the, critiques of Trump, is that he's a little bit brash, a little bit blunt, with his words sometimes, right? The old mean tweets, Trump, blah, blah, blah. He was pretty cold about Robert Mueller dying. I mean, Like, he's the guy that kind of came after him and his whole entire family. Robert Mueller's the guy that, was the special investigator into the whole Russia gate, Russia collusion. Russia. It was a total hoax. Absolutely crazy. These guys actually, they made my son Eric Trump the most indicted man in all of American history. Scott, do you know that? That's absolutely crazy. He wrote a book about it. Yeah, actually, I did buy his book, Mr. Trump. Yeah. I haven't got to it yet, but I wanted to read about that, man, because it's pretty ridiculous that Eric Trump became the most indicted man in all of American history. Like, absolutely ridiculous. So I'll tell you what I said, Scott. I said, Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people. Straight up said it, bro. Straight up. Right here on Truth. Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's dead. Cold-hearted, bro. Real talk is cold sometimes, man. Golly, man. Like, hit him with the mean tweet on that one, I guess. God dang. Do you hear anybody crying about that one? I didn't even. It's like, man, people are like, kind of desensitized to the mean Trump tweets, I guess, man. I didn't even see that one going around lamestream crying about it or nothing. I didn't hear nobody crying about that one, man. That's too funny. Oh, hey, we up to 119 followers this week. All right. Make sure to hit follow if you haven't done that one yet for me. And then, join the Truther Tribe squad, right? You can also hit that, red little join button down there. You can join the locals community. It says, semi-private kind of place. It's not censored by big tech, Just another platform where I be posting all of these things. A little bit more concise, X is where you should be at, but, locals is another place to have, right? That's where you can get all of this stuff in live time. And then if you're into it, man, you could sign up for the Truther Triber Squad. It's a few bucks a month. And, you can comment on my posts or make a post of your own in the Mass Dash of Insights community. And, then I'll cover it on the show, as long as it doesn't suck. If it sucks, I probably won't talk about it. So don't post baloney in there. By the way, moderators, I believe you can post in there. So don't forget to post, informational tidbits from the lamestream or that the lamestream mainstream media wouldn't cover. Make sure to, post those in the locals for us, and then I'll cover it here on the Monday night show. I know Wilkinson does it the roundabout way. She just shares it to me, so then I put it in there. That's all good. I'll do it. Next up, we have got more statistical analysis here on how the deep state media system works. Now, and maybe this one's not deep state, okay, but, the conspiracy, kind of like media system. You probably heard the news topic, the news cycle about the, what's his freaking name, dude? Joe Kent, right? The Joe Kent guy that, Crimea River, he stepped down from the cabinet. I believe he was appointed by Trump in the cabinet fully. Why is it? Okay, here we go. So he stepped down and he cited, I disagree with, the Iran thing. And, I was like a military vet. And, I just can't, I told myself, after Iraq, and I found out that it was total BS and a waste of our time, money, resources, and, military men's lives, that, if I was ever in the position, I would never, ever do something like that. So he said he's going to step down, which, by the way, how we opened the show, we got that Iran peace deal coming in. So, pretty funny that, Mr. Joe Kent dropped out of the administration. And then like a few days later, there's a peace deal on the table. So now we kind of look stupid, right? So this one here, folks, we got honestreporting.ai track the Joe Kent narrative in real time. because it was kind of strange, man. As soon as Joe, decided to quit the Trump admin, he went to a recent traitor, Tucker Carlson's podcast right away. And then I think he did Candace Owens and maybe like a couple other ones. But it was kind of interesting that he had these things kind of, ready to go. Maybe Tucker dropped somebody that he was going to do an interview with and got the Joe Kennan because it's the hot news cycle topic, But within minutes, not hours, minutes of the Tucker Carlson interview with Joe Kent going live, the same clip, the same caption, the same outrage floods hundreds of accounts simultaneously. So this Honest Reporting AI Labs tracked every amplification event in real time, and the data is damning, they say. The trigger quote was, Israel drove the decision, right? That was his critique that, Israel's pushing Trump's hand and which they kind of admitted, that is true. I do believe Trump and Hegseth both said, well, Israel was about to do something and that wasn't going to be good. So then we stepped in and we did something better, to stop them being idiots or something like that, right? Which they then continue to be idiots anyway. And they bombed some kind of an oil rig, right? Like, what a loser choice that was, in my opinion, right? If they don't have anything to back it up, so what? They're just relying on us to let's go blow up some oil and Big Daddy America will take care of it, right? So that was the trigger quote was Israel drove the decision. This was clipped and posted across hundreds of accounts almost simultaneously, not after it trended. So during, the point there is it was just already blasted out. It wasn't like it went out, organically, and then it went viral, and then everybody started blasting it out or something, you know what I mean? So, during the broadcast, which is pretty interesting. So real breaking news takes time to spread organically. This, had a running start. Very interesting. So, a few speculations to what this could have been was Russia state TV, Iranian state media, Hamas aligned, Quds. I don't know what that one is. News network, Turkish state broadcaster, or Sputnik Brazil, and simultaneously Jackson Hinkle, Candace Owens, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Max Blumenthal, all of them, they all had this little clip all ready to go. A little bit, I'm skeptical, right? It just happened to be all the people that are defecting from the MAGA movement and saying oh my God, the Trump thing in the Iran, that's the whole deal breaker there. Very interesting, man. Just kind of seems like an orchestrated narrative to push to just try and, attack Trump. Where it's, sick and annoying to me, man, because, we couldn't even keep the MAGA shit united, for longer than 6 months to a year. Absolutely appalling, bro. So all these people that were grifting on the MAGA train, bro, are already dipping, and what makes sense here, folks, is that that's how you get the views right now. You get the views right now by talking about disagreeing with Trump on the Iran. You get the views from talking about, for some strange reason, Erica Kirk, and those do gangbusters for ratings right now because they're drama. So people like the drama. And then unfortunately, the people that don't have a monetization strategy outside of getting views and numbers talk bullshit. So what is this, folks? It's very, very simple. The online media already behaves just like legacy media. So legacy media, we talk ish about all the time. The CNNs, the, MSNBC, MS Now, blah, blah, blah. They talk crap just to get the views. Rage bait all the time, man. And the Orange Man Bad is the number one, right? But rage bait, drama bait, you get these people interested and then you make money from the views. So people like Tucker and Candace aren't really getting a good strategy of monetization, perhaps, or just the money they got already is not good enough, or, maybe it's their ego and their hubris and they just want to get more numbers. But, talk about defecting from Trump. All of a sudden you get views from people that are in the middle or hate Trump because now they think you're on their team, right? And then, talk about the Erica Kirk drama and a bunch of nonsense. You're going to get, views from, right people that are, easily ready to fall into the middle, and like conspiracy theories. I love conspiracy theories. So I tried listening to the Candace thing and I was already like, hole. There's a lot of holes in this story. I can't get into it. Like, if you're watching and you were into the Candace Owens thing about Erica Kirk, remember when she said, oh, Erica and, Charlie were on this, like, Russian plane and blah, 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 right? Turns out she looked up the damn information wrong. And so all of that was a nothing burger. Well, she never brought it up ever again. So, one of several points that she made that were completely nonsensical that didn't pan out. And she's not in good faith. And she is just trying to get views. So she didn't bring that up and go, guys, heads up. I was wrong about this one. I was looking at it wrong. No, she just wants to keep the like drama thing going and shit like that. Well, it seems like this Joe Kent thing is just a unfortunate, woke right, they're calling it. Like the people that are kind of losing the ethos of the right that were MAGA, it seems like an orchestrated media hit piece that just kind of went, super mega viral here, a little bit too soon. It was like the post was saying it was before the damn show was even over, so that somebody clipped it and it went out like hundreds of times already, which, sure, it's possible that could have just happened organically, but, a little bit suspicious in my humble opinion. Yeah, right here they got what is this? Departure from source material. Oh, maybe it was just like shit they were talking about. Yeah. The RT framing RT is like a Russian news network. Turk conspiracy. Israel controls U.S. Very interesting. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Sorry about that, Wilkins saying the internet is definitely annoying, man. When the internet goes out. One thing you missed was, what's his face? Trump saying, Robert Mueller's dead. Good. And then we went over a happy good story that you'd ever hear about, where a Mexican man took that $2,600 and self-deported, and then 2 weeks later his permanent residency went through, and then he came back to America and was reunited with his wife and kids. So that was a nice feel good that you don't see in the mainstream media headlines. So I just thought, I'd point that out. And maybe people will pull up the blog post in the description. Maybe they'll scroll down to the post about the Mexican man, doing the right thing. And maybe they'll share it out on their Facebook or their X or something, because more people need to see it, man. Yeah, man. So this next one, is kind of like hey, I'm not a medical professional, I just report the facts, the news, the information. Sometimes I report lies. And then, I got to be like, oh, never mind. I looked into it. It's not true. But next up, folks, this one's a little bit queasy. The imagery is a little bit like, ew. But, this week's reminder about the weird fibrous clots found in people's bodies ever since the COVID jab was rolled out. I don't know if you guys were, paying attention back then, but I was, terminally online as usual. Literally, we got reports from morticians that were embalming bodies in January of 2021, okay? January of 2021 was not far from when the COVID jab was emergency rolled out, which was like what? July 2020 or August, September 2020. So 3 to 6 months previous to where these, embalmers were finding these super weird, nasty, fibrous clots in people's bodies, right? Well, this week's update is coming in from our good friend of the show, very good friend of the show, Mr. Nicholas Holscher, MPH. And so this dude is pointing out and bringing some awareness to us, folks, about the former president of the Pennsylvania Funeral Directors Association saying that 30 to 40% of bodies now contain massive white fibrous clots. That is effed up. So, like, this is like a new phenomena that did not exist prior to January 2021. Now, you could say, oh, it's just COVID. It's not the jab. No, COVID was just such a crazy disease. It's such a crazy virus that is what's causing the white fibrous clots. But I would argue, if they're only finding it in 30, 40% of bodies, what if all the other bodies are people that didn't have the jab? And then they don't have the white fibrous clots. And, you know, every single person that had the jab probably doesn't have white fibrous clots. I would guess, just trying to be a, you know, like a reasonable guy that's not just like being full 100. You know, I'm a very anti 0 to 100 guy. I very much believe in God's universal rule of the Goldilocks zone. In my humble opinion, that is how pretty much everything in the damn universe works. You got to find a Goldilocks zone. So call me crazy, man. Let's hear what they're saying here.
Says this is the very first time that a United States State Funeral Director Association president or former president has come out to talk about these unusual white fibrous clots that embalmers with 20 or 30 years of experience have never seen in their corpses before until the years of COVID and the COVID vaccines. In my latest worldwide survey, it was about 1 out of every 5 corpses had this phenomenon in them. What are you seeing, Chris?
Tom, I would say it's a little bit higher than that. I've been seeing it in probably 30 to 40% of each and every body that I embalm. And the sizes of the clots that Tom just showed are actually small to what I've been seeing. They've been the size of the arteries that have been coming out. You can't ignore this stuff. You really can't. These are foreign bodies that we have never come across, or at least I have never come across in the 10 years that I've been a funeral director and embalmer.
Yeah, bro. Crazy. And so he's the first, like, more official guy. What? How did he say it? Like, first, you know, first, you know, top of the funeral house, because he's a funeral director. It was all embalmers talking about this, man. I watched a bunch of videos, bro. I watched one where the embalmer guy was talking about how when this first happened, he phoned up the buddies, you know, like, it was like, you know, everybody's got a thing they're into, right? Then you got some like other people, you know, or if you're in like, you know, some kind of a, you know, job position, you know, like that's a specialty job or something, you got to have like a network of other people, you know, that like know the stuff, right? So I watched several videos where these embalmers were like, calling up other ones like, bruh, are you seeing what I'm seeing in people all of a sudden? And all of a sudden it started, you know, rolling in, and more people were like, yeah, I'm getting these crazy, weird white fibrous clots. And like, I'll spare you the nasty footage, dude. I'll spare you the nasty footage. I don't like looking at gross stuff, you know, personally. So I wouldn't want to do that to you. But these white fibrous clots are wacko long, thick, and disgusting. And they're finding these in freaking people's veins, like straight up in their blood veins. So then what they also don't know is if they form pre or post-mortem. So we don't even know if they're like maybe a technical cause of death. All we know is that after the people die, when you go to embalm them, and that's, you know, part of that's draining all the blood out the body, they get these wacko, nasty, giant fibrous clots. And only started happening in January of 2021. Absolutely bonkers. I'm pretty sure from my steel trap memory, that was the first one cited. Absolutely disgusting, bro. Yeah, and then he okay, he's got another post here from June of 2025. He said, white fibrous clots are real and prevalent. Video confirmed testimony of white fibrous clot detection by majority of embalmers at an official state funeral directors association. What?
How many folks in here are actually doing active embalming right now? Raise your hands, move your hands up.
Wait, what do you say?
How many folks in here are actually doing active embalming right now? Raise your hands, move your hands up. Okay? Of those people, leave them up. And of those people that are doing active embalming, if you're seeing these white fibrous clots over the last few years, keep your hand up. If you're not seeing them, please put your hand down. Okay? It looks like there's still quite a few hands up in the room. That's interesting. Look around, folks. If you're a fellow embalmer, you can see how many hands are up.
Quick paper napkin math. I'd say that was a good 90%, 80 to 90% of hands stayed up.
Active embalming. If you're seeing these white fibrous clots over the last few years, keep your hand up. If you're not seeing them, please put your hand down. Okay? It looks like there's still quite a few hands up in the room. That's interesting. Look around, folks. If you're a fellow embalmer, you can see how many hands are up. And keep your hands up now.
Only two on the left
other
one.
people in the funeral home, funeral directors who don't embalm, other staff. How many of you have seen the white fibrous clots as well? 'Cause I know you wander into the, okay? So, a lot of hands up there. Okay. How many folks in here are actually...
I don't know, guys. Freaking the facts look pretty clear to me, man. It seems that one may be able to connect the dots that maybe, possibly, no one actually knows. Completely all speculation that perhaps after these COVID jabs were given out to people, all of a sudden we have white fibrous clots showing up in human beings' bodies after they die. Is absolutely a cold, hard fact. We have no idea if they're connected otherwise. But, you know, if you got like, you know, more than just a hamster running that wheel up in your noodle, I find it difficult to not come to that conclusion that they are directly connected. I don't know, man. What do y'all think in the live chat? What do you think, man? You think COVID jab connected to white fibrous clots in the deceased bodies? Or do you think that's hoo-ha? Do you think that's crazy town or too plausible? Oh, I think the troll tried to come back with a whole different name. He tried to trick us, though, folks. He came back as Trump Lover 247. Almost got us. Came back just saying nonsense yet again and not being constructive to the conversation. If you want to be a troll, that's fine. Be a troll. Come on in. Just be a useful troll and bring me what the current liberal headliner lemming download was for the week, so then we can deconstruct it live on air. And I don't know, man. I don't like to be too cocky, but we would likely be able to disprove everything about that mainstream deep state download of the week that they fed people in live time. So that's what the troll used to do. Yeah, Wilkinson in the live chat does think connected. So, you know, I don't know. Oh, it's crazy. I'd say it's probably maybe sort of kind of maybe, I don't know, kind of connected. So I think Rumble's working, but we got a big lag today. Big lag. Scott, I would call it a huge lag. I don't know why that is. I might need to call the guys over at Rumble. I talked to them a few times. They're very nice guys. I think they're probably going to live stream the White House MMA fight that we're going to have. We're going to have the great, what's his name? Dana White. We're going to have Dana White, and he's going to do a UFC in front of the White House to celebrate the 250th birthday of America. I'm sure that'll be live streaming on the free speech platform Rumble. So make sure, folks, to go ahead and get your Rumble account logged in. If you're not logged in, if you're watching not logged in, you should be logged in, because then you could make sure to hit the follow button here and follow the TrutherCast live. You could hit that thumbs up button and tell the Rumble algorithm that it is a great show to watch. Even if you're on the lame YouTube, you could also follow over there, but you should probably be on the home free speech platform of Rumble. I agree, man. Good shout out, man. That's a great idea. Hit that thumbs up, hit the follow button. Good call, Mr. Trump. Good call. Next up here for us, I was saying it's very interesting that NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte comes out in full support of President Trump, demanding that our allies step it up. And NATO has been pretty not Trump so far, right? This story here, folks, is, already getting a little bit dusty since we've got that peace deal getting signed up. Working on it right now, Scott. When you're talking, I'm working. I can multitask. So over here, I am reading through the agreement and talking with my team and having them make sure that all the modifications are in place. And we make sure that it's a great deal for the American people, most importantly, Scott. Thanks, man. Thanks. Absolutely. But, it's a little dusty now since there's already a peace deal because now, in hindsight, we could maybe speculate. Maybe Iran decided to make a peace deal and give up because somehow Trump finally got those, I think it's like 6 countries and a NATO to completely back him up on securing that Strait of Hormuz, man. So it was like Britain, Japan, something. They all said like, nah, dude, we're not going to get involved. Oh, it's not part of our strategy to get involved like that. Britain was like, we won't do anything offensive. Like going on offense is like being offensive, right? They're like the same thing. So we don't want to be offensive. So we're not going to help. Well, somehow it seems they came to their senses and they kind of decided it would be a good idea to, work with the U.S. to try and, straighten out the Strait of Hormuz there and make sure that there aren't Terrys, shooting bullets and bombs over at the ships, just trying to conduct business and, keep the entire like globe running. Maybe that would be a good idea. I don't know. Call us crazy, but absolutely wild to see NATO gave full support, bro. Pretty nuts, bro.
With allies all over NATO territory. What I'm sensing and hearing is that we all agree, as we always did, that it was crucial for Iran not to get its hands on a nuclear capability, a ballistic missile capability, and what the US is doing at the moment is degrading that capability of Iran, and I think that's very important. This is important for European security, for the Middle East. It is vital for Israel itself. Then when it comes to the Hormuz Strait, everybody agrees. This strait cannot stay closed. It has to open.
All of a sudden, everybody agrees it's, can't be closed. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Open up again as soon as possible. This is crucial for the world economy. In my context with allies are seeing is that they are intensely discussing amongst each other with the United States and amongst each other the best way forward to tackle this huge security issue.
Sir, we're not going to tickle it. We're going to tackle it.
And let me add to that, that I'm confident that allies, as always, will do everything in support of our shared interests.
Bro, so you're telling me these guys were like, what? Donald Trump wants us to help with the Strait of Hormuz? We don't like Donald Trump. He doesn't share our same woke ideology of ruining everything for our benefit. Wait, what's that? Oh, the Strait of Hormuz benefits us? Shit. Yeah, so never mind on that. Yeah, I guess we do have shared interests. So yeah, totally on board. So, one would imagine, Iran sees the, tiny sliver of imaginary hope they think of maybe coming out of this on top somehow, completely going away. as Trump gets all those 6 allied nations and flipping NATO to get on board, bro. Absolutely crazy. Then he had the Japanese president over. I don't know if you saw this one, folks. Did you see this one last week? Trump made a Pearl Harbor joke with the freaking Japanese president right next to him. This Japanese, reporter asked a pretty stupid question, and he was like, basically, well, why didn't you tell us about the plans for Iran? And Trump was like, hold on, Scott, I've got this one. I said, oh, yeah, why would I telegraph my plans? That doesn't make any sense. That's not what you want to do. That's not how you win. If you telegraph your wins or your plans, then, the bad guys know what's going to happen. So, why didn't Japan tell us that, they were going to do that in Pearl Harbor, right? And I looked over to the, Japanese president, and just as I was looking over to her, I saw her change her face from very, very shocked or somewhat maybe embarrassed to happy and laughing to go along with my joke. It was a good time. I thought that reporter asked a very stupid question. It was very stupid. Yeah, it was a little bit of a not well worded, thought out question. I agree, but dropping the Pearl Harbor joke, you're freaking hilarious, bro. It's too much. Robert Mueller has died. Good. It's a good thing he's dead. That cracks me up. Oh, man. As usual, I agree with the Mr. Tim Pool here. And here, Mr. Tim, I thought was exactly right, because the people of Illinois do not want progressive, Democrat, liberal, like complete BS anymore, bro. We're done with it. We're done. We're done with the crazy deep state, liberal, wokey agenda. We're done with it, folks. Here in Illinois, we're trying to turn things around, man. We got to get that Bailey guy elected in. He just won the primary. Maybe the second guy, the Ted Dabrowski, could maybe be like in the team. It's not like a cabinet. What's it called for a governor? Maybe you can just be on Bailey's team. Wouldn't that be great if, Republican conservatives could unite instead of like baby bathwater and being a bunch of crybabies that can't team up together? But if we could get that Ted Dabrowski in to help out, that'd probably be a good one. But this was pretty good to see here.
Yesterday, Illinois held its primary elections, and the results will shock you. Or maybe not. The progressive left Democrats got completely blown out. That is, the people of Illinois said, we do not want this far left brand of democratic socialist.
This is why it's important to go out and vote in the stupid primaries, folks. So I'm very disappointed in you if you did not do that. And I had people that were like, oh, man, I don't think I'm going to make the time. It's not worth it, bro. I'll just do the general election. And I said, no, you got to go out there and show the voice, bro, because the media picks it up and runs stories. So if we show up and we vote in the silly, quote, quote, primary, if we show up, dog, it's going to show a sign of strength and more flipping winning.
Or whatever. It would appear that the moderate Democrat types actually took a major victory. So the question arises, what will happen in this November's midterm? Kashi is already predicting that Democrats have an 85% chance to take the House, and thus Republicans will lose what little control they currently have. I think we are seeing the American people stepping up and saying no to the...
And here, the Illinois people, man. Nah, bro. Like, I'm done with it, bro. And then that where's the stupid Abuegazela lady, man? That's the one I wanted to see. So I guess she lost in the primary, and she's like a nut job in my humble opinion. I forget, Cat Abuegazela. Good luck getting a vote.
I know most older people are going to be like, my benefits are already low. Why should we give them to people who aren't citizens? But listen to this.
Everyone deserves health care.
Even illegals?
Every single person in the world deserves
Just for the record, as a candidate, you're for illegal aliens getting Medicaid.
I think everyone in the world deserves
That's a yes.
healthcare.
That's a yes.
That's
a Democratic position.
It is a yes, but
yeah.
It's a Democratic position. Illegal aliens should get Medicaid.
But I mean, I mean,
you could be a stickler and say, dude, I 100% agree. Every single person in the world deserves health care. Not everybody can get it.
How is that controversial? Guys, I am in favor of what I describe as universal basic healthcare. Let me explain what that means. I differentiate it from universal healthcare because some things can't be treated. That's why it doesn't make sense, right? Somebody's got this rare form of cancer and you're like, we're going to put him in medical care for eternity and spend millions of dollars on this, but they're not going to make it anyway. Now, I understand that's sad, okay? I understand that we don't want people to die, but we can't cure literally every disease or ailment. It's just not possible. That being said, there are stories of people who died because they didn't have insulin.
Well, we got, ivermectin, fenbendazole, and mebendazole, for the cancer treatments going, might have better luck because, that's what our good friend of the show, Mr. Holscher is posting about a lot. And, what's the other one? The other one I post all the time, man, that he's talking about the fenbendazole, mebendazole, ivermectin trials, and it's just knocking out cancers, man. All of it's alleged, right? Oh, you got to look into everything and double, triple, dipple, fact check it and shit. But they have testimonial after testimonial on, it's Dr. Makis, M-A-K-I-S, Dr. Makis. Look it up on X. He has got testimonial after flipping testimonial of being on this, treatment, which is different for everybody, not a medical professional, not telling you what to take. Go DM Mr. Makis and he'll give you the Gmail to get a hold of his team and they'll try and talk to your doctor and get you on a regimen for ivermectin, fenbendazole, and mebendazole because it's like a different amount or, some people don't need the fenbendazole, but the other two, so it's different for everybody, right? All of our bodies are different. Unlike what the COVID jab people told us, our bodies are different. And, there's a bunch of testimonials saying that stage, 3, 4 and metastasized to freaking bone cancers completely cleared up and went away. Prostate cancer, breast cancer, other types of cancers, I believe as well. And they got a gigantic report. I think I covered it last week. 82 pages report that he put into the top 3 AIs. And at the end of it, all the AIs agreed that it seems to be, being tied to maybe possibly curing cancer. Or no, I'm sorry. That was the vaccines connected to autism. 82 page report. All 3 top AIs read the report and said, yeah, after reading this report, it certainly seems that vaccines are connected to autism. Sorry, mixed up there.
And hard to treat, but if you bring on the less nurses and doctors to
benefits. That's your version of America.
No, what I want from America is a place that was promised to us, Scott.
To the illegals?
Like you do. No, it was promised to us. It was promised to us, not us, me and you, black and white, brown. Scott, do you think that your family was born here? You weren't born here, Scott.
I was born in.
First of all, where does your family come from? My family wasn't born here. My family was actually from Sierra Leone. Scott,
This is the insanity of the Democratic Party, and that CNN is trying to entertain this as though it's middle of the road is absolutely...
Bro, is that Scott Jennings? Is that the dude that wrote that book, Wilkinsane? Yeah, that's Scott Jennings, right? That's the same guy? Right? Yeah, CNN News. Scott Jennings, born October 26, 1977. Is an American conservative political strategist. Yeah, you should check out his book. It's called something Common Sense. Yeah, me and Wilkinsane got the book. She's reading it. She says real good, man. Story about some Trump admin stuff, but yeah, check that out, Mr. Scott Jennings. And that dude's doing some putting in some work for us, folks. Being on the CNN show. How do you deal with these morons? But someone's got to do it, right? So God bless the man. But that woman that was talking, that was the Cat Abuegazela, and she is a radical leftist. To which her, I lost speech, she ended it with F Trump, F ICE, and Free Palestine. Well, so it's like, oh boy, you're still on that trope, eh? Gee, money, frickin' Christmas. Absolutely ridiculous. Crazy. Yeah, Revolution of Common Sense. Good book. Wilkinsane says, definitely go and buy yourself a copy. Don't be lazy. Don't be a no-reading loser. Go out and buy a book and read it sometime, man. ExpressVPN on some BS. Finally back watching the show. Man, everybody having some internet problems. I think Rumble might have been having a rough time. Gosh dang it. Welcome back, Dinosaur. What be good with you, man? Next up here, we got Scott Pressler found the clip, folks. The clip of the Democrats under Joe Biden admin trying to nuke, I said juke here, to nuke the filibuster, and that was to push their agenda, you know? So how they like cried about, you know, right now we all kind of think they need to nuke that filibuster to just push through Trump policy because, you know, the system's kind of screwed when you can just filibuster everything and not get anything done. You know, tricky. It had a point at one time, but now it seems silly, right?
First begin here with this attempt by Senate Democrats to advance this landmark voting rights bill, which, you know, we expected, and it did, fail yesterday on the Senate floor. Their efforts to pass a filibuster rule change was shut down by 52 votes to 48 last night. Democrats Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema joined 50 Republicans in rejecting the rule change. Earlier on CBS Morning, the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, spoke with Gayle King about the next move for the White House.
Well, what we will do is we will keep fighting to get the legislation passed because that is critical. So we are not giving up on that. And then it is a matter of continuing to do the work of executive orders, doing the work through the Department of Justice, which has been litigating these cases in the various states because we believe that they are a violation of the spirit of the Constitution of the United States. It is going to be about continuing to elevate this conversation because, Gail, frankly, you'd be surprised how many people in the burden of everyday life are unaware of what's happening in these states, but when they become aware of laws that make it illegal to give people food and water if they're standing in line, they're outraged.
All right, Scott.
Yeah, so when it's convenient for them, it's get rid of the old filibuster, huh? But now that we're in power and we're talking about it, it's, oh, Orange Man bad, and oh my God, oh, the Republicans crazy trying to get rid of the filibuster. Yeah. Just another, you know, Democratic hypocrisy, right, folks? So at minimum, I guess we could say everybody wants to get rid of the damn filibuster. So whoever's in control can control things. Crazy idea, I know, right, dude? Crazy idea. The Democrats are in power. Cool. They're going to do a bunch of shit to piss us off. Then we'll vote in a Republican, and he'll have to fix everything, and then do a bunch of shit that fixes everything and makes it better, but that'll piss the Democrats off. And then we'll keep flip-flopping, man. You know? Or you can just, you know, do the black pill bullshit and say that it's all orchestrated and the whole, you know, MAGA movement is just to make like faux, you know, controversy at the high political levels. And they're all in on it, and they're all just lure us into a false sense of security and just keeping the flip-flop game of the false, you know, two-party system, you know, going to, you know, keep us distracted in a little loop and not have a big riot and just, you know, like replace the government with somebody that's going to, you know, take effect, you know, kind of like what happened in Cuba and, you know, other places around the world where the people are like, you know what, I'm done with this shit, dude. Done with it. Next up, I said, excellent. The House of Representatives has just passed a bill requiring automatic deportation of illegals who commit welfare fraud. It says pass. So that's like full pass? Like it's not like we're waiting on it, huh? This is like, it's done. They said this is a no-brainer, but of course, 186 Democrats voted against this. You know, reminder, Democrats are not on the side of America. I feel like that's pretty non-debatable, right? So some of the fraud encompassed in the bill includes Social Security fraud, SNAP, you know, food assistance fraud, mail fraud, conspiracy to defraud the U.S., theft or bribery involving federal funds, identification document fraud, and other similar crimes involving government funds or public benefits. This seems like a no-brainer, folks. Like, This is one of those where like, yeah, cool, man. I'm glad we did this. This is great. You know, passed a bill requiring automatic deportation of a criminal alien committing a crime. But then it ticks me off, bro. Like, why do we need laws that say we need to enforce the other laws? Like, what the F? Like, if they're a criminal alien and the rules are to deport criminal aliens and they get caught committing money fraud or like, government assistance fraud, it's pretty clear that they just should be deported. Like, first crime, coming in illegally, deportation necessary. Second crime, frauded the United States welfare system. Cool. Can we deport you twice? How does that work? Expedited deportation. Maybe it's money fine and, labor camp before you get deported. Or maybe we deport you over somewhere where your labor camp can pay back for our welfare that you frauded. Double deportation, man. Labor camp, something. That's what I think should happen, bro. If you come over here illegally and then you fraud the welfare system, labor camp, bro. Do it Russia style. If you get caught criminal alien in Russia, 2 years labor camp. Last time I looked it up. Who knows if it's true? Double check that shit if you feel like it. Labor camp. That's what I say. And you just gonna keep working there till you make the money back, bro. And you're probably dumb, So like Asman says, bro, just go to the box, and all you can do is turn bigger rocks into little rocks, right? That's about all you're good for. So that's good. I'm glad to see that. Next up here, man, is a Pritzker piece. I was saying, so, piece of crap, Mr. Pritzker just said the quiet part out loud, Kind of like we had that Hakeem Jeffries one last week or two where he said the quiet part out loud. Ooh, I was on that one. It was last week. I was on that one right away. I talked about that one last week, and then I just seen the guys that I follow talking about it like yesterday, today, and it was coming back up again. But he literally said, oh, we got to keep ICE out of sensitive areas like, like hospitals and like churches and, poll centers. So like, anyway, anyway. This one is Illinois Governor Pritzker just explained Project 2029. Not another one of these projects with a year date. Democrats plan to criminally prosecute Trump officials through a weaponized DOJ and use NGO civil suits to bankrupt Republicans through lawfare. They are not hiding it. They are just announcing it, bro.
Agenda look like? What does a Project 2029 agenda look like for you?
I don't think you can speak of it in shorthand, but I'll just say a couple of things that I think are absolutely necessary. One is we've got to restore the rule of law, and that means holding people accountable who've broken the law. I'm talking about in this administration, when we get a new one, the people in this administration who've broken the law and federal agents who've broken the law need to be held accountable.
And that means criminally prosecuted.
Criminally prosecuted, civilly prosecuted, whatever it is that we can do, right? It may be that you can't criminally prosecute somebody, but that you can go after them civilly.
What is a Project 2029 agenda?
So, I mean, like, face value. Yeah, he's saying, oh, we're going to attack our opponents, wherever we can. But we already know that these dirty Democrats, bend the rules. They pass a law that says, hey, we're going to get rid of the statute of limitations, for only 1 year. And then they prosecute Trump and absolutely no one else under that new rule that they made up to change the rules and then fraudulently prosecute Trump, to which then he was completely exonerated and found to be completely not guilty. Yeah, that was the one in New York, I believe, right? So that'd be like, what, Letitia James, who is, actually now in trouble for what she said Trump did. So just like Big Fannie Willis, man, she is ridiculously, both of them are ridiculously hypocritical. Absolutely. I never know if that one picks up on the microphone. Sometimes it does, sometimes I don't think that did. I don't know. But 10 o'clock. The Trump clock, man. It was a great addition, Mr. Dinosaur. God bless you, man. Good find, brother. Next up here for you. Oh no, I didn't say this. We just got the post quote here. The Homeland of Security advisor, Mr. Stephen Miller, man, he's popular this week. Mr. Stephen Miller. What a great guy that's Stephen Miller. I love that guy. He gets them, man. He attacks like a dog. He's quite the opposite of Soleimani, actually. Soleimani actually died like a dog, but actually Stephen Miller, he's fierce like a dog. That's what I'm going to say now, folks. I'm going to say Stephen Miller, fierce like a dog. That's not bad, bro. I like that one. Mr. Stephen Miller is pretty fierce like a dog. He says that ICE asked the illegals they detained if they were receiving Medicaid. Half of them admitted to it. I bet you half of the other half just lied. The illegals that don't have it say they just go to the hospital and then it's always 100% free anyway. Why sign up for Medicaid if I can just go to the ER and then never pay my bill because I'm a criminal alien, right? Like, not bad, right?
Since President Trump came into office, is that the Democrats have set up a system to funnel hundreds of billions and ultimately trillions of dollars to
hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. Sometimes it's people tell me sometimes it might even be close to the trillions. Oh, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
To funnel hundreds of billions and ultimately trillions of dollars to migrants that are in our country, oftentimes from places like Somalia. So as an example, ICE recently asked a group of illegal immigrants that were in detention whether or not they were receiving Medicaid. Half of them raised their hands and volunteered that they were on Medicaid. Just volunteered that. These are the ones who are hiding it, right? They also asked illegal aliens how they paid their medical bills, and they said that if they don't have Medicaid, they go to hospitals, they get free care there, and they bill it to the taxpayers. So they aren't paying for any of their own health care in this country. It's just one example. And we've seen this over and over and over again. So under President Trump's leadership, and then of course with JD and the head of the FTC, Andrew Ferguson, we are going to see the first ever effort in American history to reclaim the ultimately trillions of dollars that were stolen from taxpayers. But what we found...
Bruh, I saw some post that was saying that Trump was saying recently that if we got rid of like just, what is it? It was like, like all the fraud that we just kind of found now, but we haven't like totally cut it off or something. He was like, if we just got rid of the fraud, it would probably balance the budget. Like if we just got rid of the fraud, not even like fix the system. You know what I mean? What's a better word for it? Like that is fixing the system or some shit. But like, we're not like overspending on like normal things. That's not the reason the budget is not balanced. That's not the reason that we keep going into the OMG national debt. It's the fraud. So, I'd believe that shit, right? Like, he could be wrong, but I would believe that, bro. If we just got rid of the effing fraud, bro, what do you know? All of a sudden the budget is balanced. Like, that sounds extremely plausible to me after we see all these freaking numbers, bro. He's talking hundreds of billions of dollars in Medicaid fraud? In like ER unpaid bills, like fraud? Like, that's crazy. That one's not fraud technically, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But yeah, dude, get rid of the fraud and balance the effing budget. That sounds like a great running tagline or some shit, man. That should be the 2028 election thing. That should be get rid of the fraud and balance the budget. Vote for me. I am the not mentally handicapped guy running for president. JD Vance was also rumored to have maybe possibly in private said that he does not plan on running for president in 2028. So hopefully he changes that attitude, bro, because we all really want that guy. Somebody like Mr. JD Vance. He might be maybe, not as awesome and as strong as Trump, man, but God bless, dude. We got to have some kind of a chain if we're going to like keep this shit going, bro. We got to have a goddamn system in place, man. We got to have a flipping system for somebody to take the reins. And ideally, we need to get 5 steps ahead, right? Just like Mr. Patrick Bet-David of the PBD podcast says, you got to be 5 moves ahead at minimum, bro. Think like a chess player, right? We need to have the next 5 dudes that's lined up to run, bro. So what's 5 times 4, 8, So some of those guys, we got to get them while they're young. So that 5th one's going to, not be too old by the time it's his turn, and you just take your turn, man. Get in line, take your turn. Needs to be JD and Marco Rubio. And then, you run Rubo Marco. Then you run him and then some new guy as the VP. And then you run that VP, It just makes sense to me to run the damn VP because then, he was already popular. People seen him. He's been in the office. That should be the flipping rule. God dang. Call me crazy, right? God dang. What if you just the vice president person is not only the dude who's supposed to take over for the whole entire flipping president, position, but that guy also is going to have to be the next guy that runs for president in that party or gal. Because that would make you pick a better VP if that had to be the person that ran next for president. And then also they're already getting the on-the-job training. So if they're supposed to be the understudy that would take over for the effing president if he were to be removed or no longer could, do his duties or perhaps impeached or something, right? Why would that person not be the person that runs for flipping president? Right? I don't know. I think I just might have came up with something clever. What do you think of the live chat? What do you think of the comments? What do you think about that one? That's actually possibly genius. I think that's genius. They have to run because then my point is they've got the on-the-job training already done. So wouldn't they be a little bit more better prepared for president? Because President Trump came in first term, right? And we felt he did a lot of great things, but it was a little bit wonky, And then also you'd be able to keep a group of people too, bro. You'd be able to keep the cabinet in there for a bit, right? And then, man, that'd be awesome if we could remove the stigma of being downsized or something. Because Trump's pretty much dude, he's getting real old now, and he's probably hey, man, I'm done with this shit. But what if a president dropped down to cabinet, for the next guy? His VP takes over, the new guy comes into VP, who's going to be the president later, But then the president, he drops down to a cabinet position to help his old VP, now president. And we're keeping a circle of people in there, but then that sounds like some deep statey shit. So have to put some kind of a balance on that, some kind of a check and some kind of a balance. But I don't know. I think that might be clever. Curious what the live chat thinks. You think that would be a good idea or a bad idea? I don't know. Let me know. Next up, we've got a study involving 1.7 million children. Again, not medical professional folks. I just report on the news, whether it's factual or not, which pretty much always is factual. Study involving 1.7 million children has found that myocarditis and pericarditis, pericarditis only appeared in children who had received the COVID mRNA vaccine. Holy crap. So we already earlier this episode talked about how it seems that after the COVID mRNA vaccine, that all of a sudden these white fibrous clots all of a sudden appeared in people's bodies after they were dead. But now we've got a study saying it's connected to these children having heart problems. Myocarditis and pericarditis is a heart problem, right? If you're into this stuff, you heard about this shit, folks, when COVID was big. Remember the year when hundreds of people just keeled over and just out of nowhere? This study then claims that not a single unvaccinated child in the group, so just the test group, tests are crappy all the time. So hopefully we get more verifiable evidence surrounding this concept here. But they claim that not one single individual unvaccinated child in the group suffered from these heart-related problems. That's crazy. Like, again, man, I ain't here to tell you what to think. I am here to just bring some awareness because I theorize with said awareness, you might have that realization. You might realize something if you see the facts that the mainstream media doesn't put in the damn headlines, man. That isn't squawked all about on, the TV or the social. Absolutely nuts, bro. Abstract here for the study. The background. Children and adolescents in England were offered BNT162b2 as part of the national COVID-19 vaccine rollout of September 2021. We assessed the safety and effectiveness of first and second doses. The COVID-19 vaccination in children and adolescents in England. So interesting. This is out of England as well. Results amongst 820,000. That's a good chunk of a study, right? 820,000 previously unvaccinated adolescents. The incident rate ratio for positive SARS-CoV-2 test comparing vaccination with no vaccination was 0.74, although the 20-week risks were similar. Crazy. There were no COVID-19 related deaths in any group. Fewer than 7, exact number redacted. Strange. Fewer than 7 COVID-19 related critical care admissions occurred in the adolescent first dose versus unvaccinated cohort. Why does that say cohort? That word's definitely an H, cohort. Among both adolescents and children, myocarditis and pericarditis were documented only in the vaccinated groups, with rates of 27 and 10 cases per million after first and second doses, respectively. Did anybody test when they got their 5th dose? Because God bless, if it was like starting to cause problems at, 1 to 2 doses, I hope to God we stopped giving kids the damn vaccine. Jiminy Christmas. Very interesting. If you're into that, man, you can find that post in the receipts blog. It is linked in that description box down below. You can click on that blog post link. It says, show receipts here. Very clear and easy. You can go down there and open up that blog post, and it's got these all listed, and you can pull this up, look into it, share it out. Or critique it, man. Look it up if you're being a naysayer. Go look it up, find the information, and come back to me next week, and we can talk about it. But check that blog post out, man. All the receipts linked down below over on the old website. Next up, man, I said, holy snap. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's the James O'Keefe segment of the show. So, Mr. James O'Keefe has done it again, folks. And this man covertly records 28 felony transactions of money for voter registrations. And also straight up votes, bro. Absolutely flipping ridiculous. Let's just listen to it straight from the man himself here.
Now we're gonna give you $2. You just need 14 signatures.
The petitioner, Brenda Brown, hands cash money to the homeless person, not only for signing the California ballot initiative, but also as
damn, $2, bro, they be stingy.
Payment for them to register to vote.
Now, because you haven't registered, I need to register you so I can get paid too. I'm paying you guys, I need to get paid.
That is a federal felony, and it
everybody getting paid.
didn't just happen once, it happened over and over and over again. We personally witnessed and covertly filmed this happening at least 28 times over the span of our investigation, and that is just in Los Angeles. Many of the homeless have zero understanding of what it is that they're actually signing.
But what is that petition for? You know the petition for?
I do not know. The petitioners instruct the homeless to enter made-up addresses like Pinocchio Lane.
What do I put as my address?
Yeah, just put you live on Pinocchio Lane?
Oh, you can just take it.
Oh, good.
And all of this occurring just outside the front doors of
Damn, bro, that's James O'Keefe undercover as a homeless dude. That's pretty good. Is that James? I think that's James, bro.
shelters and NGOs such as Weingart Center, which have received hundreds of millions of dollars in government money. One Weingart employee tells us when and where to find the illegal cash exchanges for signatures outside, and says the cash being given out is coming from a higher source.
Do you know if they provide the money that they're handing out?
Yeah,
the company
that's what they do. When they give the money out, they got to go back and tally up if they stealing the money or not, so they got to have signatures. Most of them be right across the street under that tree. You can check with them Monday through Friday.
While another Weingart employee advises the homeless on how to practice plausible deniability and ignorance of the law.
See, they say ignorance is not excuse for the law. But a lot of times I have to say I didn't know. I had no idea.
Oh, that would be what he should say.
Yeah. The petitioners orchestrate an elaborate pyramid scheme of unregistered petition circulators.
If I were to hire you, you would be under me. Yes. I'm under my son, I'm under him, and you under me. So it's like a pyramid game, and really, I don't need you, you need me. I don't need you.
One of the petitioners threatens to attack one of our journalists.
Go down the street, bro, before we move you down the street. I'll knock you out looking right at me.
Bro, why are you trying to be like that, bro?
They won't knock your ass out. Bitch ass nigga, don't come over here again. I'm gonna beat your ass.
And an employee of the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority records not the fraud, but the people exposing it.
That you don't care?
Why are you filming us? I'm with the LAPD.
You know it's a crime to say you're with the police when you're not.
No, I'm not with the LAPD.
Well, that's what you just said 2 minutes ago. Why did you lie?
As the NGOs pretended to be the police in order to intimidate.
But I said that because I was like nervous, and then I remembered that that is like also a felony, I think, impersonating a police officer.
Us, I began to wonder whether we're still living in America. The Department of Justice has been sent these tapes of election fraud cash exchange for voter registration happening in broad daylight, and we have informed the Department of Justice there are more tapes coming. There will be a new tape dropping every day until someone is arrested or indicted. George Washington said the administration of justice is supposed to be the firmest pillar of government, but if democracy is for sale and there is no accountability as a result of this video, it doesn't matter who is elected. Our notion of freedom is all just an illusion.
This dude's so good. Damn, James O'Keefe good at building the story, folks. Citizen Journalism Foundation. A frick.
Throughout Los Angeles.
And then, yeah, man, pull this up, Mr. James O'Keefe right there on the X, and you can watch the whole video yourself, man. Got the link in the blog post like I've been mentioning, but you should go straight to the source, folks, because that's what I'm freaking all about here at the TrutherCast, man. Build yourself a better freaking news feed, man. Get a damn X account if you ain't got one yet. God bless it. And follow Mr. James O'Keefe. You can get all this shit in live time, man. You can follow me, the Mustache, because I be posting this stuff, man. It's ridiculous. And then this comes on the heels. I don't know if there's another one in between. Save America Act was advanced in the U.S. Senate. That's good news, but it's not done yet. Where is it? I think it's on the next page. Yeah. So this one came on the heels of, citizen journalist, Mr. Nick Shirley, doing another expose out there in California, which was pretty awesome because then he also, it ate the links. Okay. He seems to be like really inspiring people to get out and do this citizen journalism, man. I'd seen some fresh faces that went out and they were also investigating these fraudsters. Yeah, bro, it seems like citizen journalism is on the rise, which is actually what just used to be called journalism. But, you know, the fancy, you know, Harvard, you know, the college graduate journalists that are on the mainstream tip, you know, they ain't really doing the real shit no more, bro. They ain't exposing what the people need to be exposed to try and make this a better freaking place, right? So Nick Shirley, man, you should definitely check out his new video, bro. This one, he's looking and investigating at these hospice centers in California. It's pretty damn good.
This is the sound of hospice money. Could you just answer the question, what's the need for 1,000% increase in hospice care here inside of LA? Do you have the paperwork to enroll a little boy by the name of Joey?
You don't know what's going on?
Well, it says there's 14 children enrolled here on the state of California.
You don't know about the fraud program we are running? What?
That there is $6,000 per beneficiary. Can you give us any explanation? Where can we open a hospice at? Get the Maybach just like you.
California may have the largest amount of fraud in the country, as California is the state with the highest taxes and collects more money than any other state in America. It is filled with fraud. California's version of Medicaid, called Medi-Cal, has more than doubled since 2022 from $108 billion to a proposed $222 billion in 2026. Their population, however, has not grown exponentially. However, their spending has.
So everybody's just becoming like screwed and like needs health care or something.
There has been 1,000% increase in hospice care in the Los Angeles County. In fact, 1 out of every $10 of home health care in America is spent in Los Angeles. On top of that, their government-funded daycare programs are filled with violations. While they continue to give money to these fraudsters, it is estimated that the fraud in California could be in the hundreds of billions of dollars. In this video, we'll be going face-to-face with these fraudsters, confronting them as they defraud the American taxpayer out of millions and billions of dollars as they live their lives in luxury, driving around luxurious cars that cost more than $100,000 that you actually paid for. Let's start first by going to these daycares filled with violations that still continue to receive money from the government.
So this is the location of the daycare. It's in the middle.
Bro, this is so dope that this dude's getting big, popular, and he was in some kind of a press briefing thing, or, you know, he was in some kind of a meeting that was televised with Trump, I believe. Like, I'm pretty sure this dude actually, like, talked to Trump or some shit, bro. So, like, God bless this kid, man. You should definitely pull this up and watch the whole thing, man. We'll watch a little bit here.
Of this shopping plaza, a lot of the buildings are closed down or boarded up to have been graffitied. And then you also have just a big dumpster right here with all this garbage, and then the daycare is right there. We're gonna go in right now.
We actually have a homeless person there too.
Oh.
See that?
There's actually somebody sleeping here right now. Hello? You all right? Yeah. And so there is a homeless man who's sleeping right next to the daycare. He's sleeping right here, and the daycare is right there. This does not look like a place where you'd want to bring your child, and it does not look suitable and set to code to be a place where children are enrolled. So they do have some children here. How many do they usually say they have, or what's the story with the children?
The last few visits from the
Oh, they spelled learning correctly here, though, in Cali.
state have said that they have 39 enrolled.
And right now we're seeing about 5 children.
Yes.
They are enrolling right now. It says Medina Learning Center is now enrolling, so let's see if little Joey can learn a little bit here at Medina. Do you have the paperwork to enroll a little boy by the name of Joey? Yes, we'd like to enroll little Joey into daycare.
They have as their backup facility.
No, that's Somali again? Come on, what are the odds?
The UMI Learning Center, and the UMI Learning Center was convicted in federal court in 2024 of having 150 ghost kids. So I want to find out what the affiliation is and why this facility is listed as the backup.
Yeah, can I get the paperwork to enroll a child?
Yes, I can.
Great. What do you think about daycare is being used for fraudulent businesses to receive money from the government to say they're enrolling 39 children, 89 children, and for millions of dollars be going towards these facilities. What do you think about that as you do work in a daycare?
No, it does happen. I've seen it like elsewhere. I've seen it.
Every one of them in this video is like, oh yeah, dude, it's horrible, but I'm not doing it. Yeah, no, we need to stop that and other. Okay, do you have more information that would help me stop those people? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't know, man.
Listening to the news. So it does happen.
Thank you.
The card that they gave us, this is the licensee, the person who owns it.
And that's so far been the only thing they've been able to give us as to how to enroll a child. And then in the back corner of this parking lot appears to be the playground. Here's a bunch of garbage, and then right here appears to be the playground. Some strange things are happening outside this daycare. Whether or not it's fraudulent, there is a lot of suspicious activity taking place.
What a playground, man. Golly, that playground's looking pretty sweet, dude. Where's this other one that was good? Is this the one where they dressed up? I don't know if this is the one. Yeah, wait. Yeah, here it is.
Your own hospice center. So I went there with a potential business partner, even knowing that's more valuable than giving them their credit card.
The check right now used to build. Honestly, has like
all taking.
The way these hospices are able to enroll these people and collect money from Medicare and Medi-Cal here inside of California is they collect the Medicare numbers from individuals and then sign them up for hospice without them even knowing. I actually went and spoke with a professional inside of the medical industry to get her opinion on how this all works.
We're seeing all of these hospices pop up here. Why is hospice and home health care such a booming business right now?
I think it's become a trend of fraud. Honestly, has like I heard about this about 5 years ago during COVID that people were building hospices and selling them. It was like a business these people made. So it's an easy way to build Medicare with their people's beneficiary numbers that people can easily steal and even purchase and buy. They buy numbers from people and tell them, give me your Medicare beneficiary number and then we'll give you something in return.
And what does that mean, give you my beneficiary number?
So there's an ID that you have. Medicare gives you. Medicare is for anybody 65 and over. So they'll give you a Medicare ID number, and that number is what's used to bill Medicare.
And so essentially, if they can get a number from somebody, it's almost like getting a credit card number, and then from there they can continue to bill and bill and bill and get that Medicare money.
Exactly. It's actually more beneficial than finding a credit card these days. Anybody can get a hospice license, actually. You don't need to be a physician. You don't need to be a doctor. You can apply and get a hospice license in the state of California. They bill, they take the Medicare numbers, they bill Medicare, the Medicare sends them a check right away. It's an easy process.
So an old person might be a bit naive to giving somebody their Medicare number,
yes,
and without them even knowing, that's more valuable than giving them their credit card number.
Correct.
In fact,
that's insane. That's so insane. Painful.
in LA, there's locations that will teach you how to open up your own hospice center. So I went there with a potential business partner to try and become a multi-millionaire in hospice.
We know that hospice is a very lucrative business, so I joined a business partner right here. His name's Darren, and we're here outside the Hospice Consultants, and we would like to start our own hospice today. We're just two young men who want to become millionaires here inside the United States, and it seems like the only way to do it nowadays is by committing fraud. So we're gonna go in and see if we can start our own hospice. Are you guys the hospice consultants?
Yes.
Oh, can we talk to you guys?
About?
I want to open my hospice.
About?
You want to open a hospice?
Yeah.
Okay, what was your name?
My name's Nick, but I want to open up.
Yeah, I just said I was here to open a hospice, and you're the hospice consultants, right? What do you want to do?
A hospice.
I understand, but we don't take care of that.
Can I get some information?
Do you want a number?
Yeah, or give me a flyer or something. And this is.
They were like, bro, like our webcams are on in the back right now. We're kind of busy not actually conducting the real business that the business's name is. So like, you know, kind of because, you know.
The hospice consultant. All right, so they say they're open right now. They won't let us into the lobby. This is no way to conduct business. We are two entrepreneurs trying to open up our own hospital.
Soaked to the bone right now.
We were denied service by the potential fraudsters, and as we were leaving, one of the fraudsters started to leave from the back in a $200,000 Maybach.
And we have a Mercedes-Benz driving up. Where can we open a hospice at? We'd like to open up a hospice. Get a Maybach just like you. So is this how I can get a Maybach by opening up my own hospice?
Now, after seeing all the wealth that is being created from these hospice centers, I headed back to the original location where we found over...
Yeah, dude, definitely go give him the watch, man. Good friend of the show, Mr. Nick Shirley. Go give him a watch. And then even mainstream media was picking up on this one here too, man.
Nick Shirley has apparently brought something big back. He's brought back journalism. Take a look at this. This is CBS News.
So this building right behind me here has 89 hospices, and it's the most extreme case of hospices that are all clustered together.
There we go.
So this building right behind me here has 89 hospices. And
89 hospices. 89.
It's the most extreme case hospices that are all clustered together in all of LA County. Yeah. And it's known as Ground Zero. We're going to try to go in and see what we can find.
Let's take a look at it.
Agency, hospice.
Can you come back?
Just looking at this directory, you can see dozens of hospice agencies coming up. So inside the lobby, there's a directory with a long list of hospice agencies. And the building's owner talked to us, and he told me that a lot of them have recently moved. He said that only 12 of them remain.
I have vacancies.
Wow.
Yeah, they roaching out, bro.
Wonder why.
Tenant
roaching out
would come in as long as they're legit.
Yeah.
They have valid things.
That's how you know you watch Asman too much, right? When you say what he about to say.
That we need. I rent. I'm not a police or keeper of...
It's not his fault.
What they do.
I just let them come here and pay me money, even though I know they're like totally committing fraud. You know, I'm not the police.
How they do business.
We weren't the first ones to come to this building. Federal inspection.
Yeah, no shit. You're following up on them, trying to like actually be real journalists.
Records show that regulators visited multiple suites in Robbie Plaza between 2021 and 2025, and they found nearly 400 violations. And the owner told me Medicare officials came to his building years ago, specifically looking for hospice agencies. He let them come in and do their thing, and he said that everyone cooperated and that the business owners didn't really seem that concerned. Some patient advocates say there's
But then they roached out.
Another explanation, which is that some might just be ghost hospices that only exist on paper, bill Medicare for services that they don't ever actually provide.
Yep. We need to do the largest deportation effort in human history.
Oh, straight up,
We
bro.
need to weaponize the National Guard and the military.
Straight up, bro.
And systematically remove every single person that is an immigrant, a migrant, a refugee, any sort of asylum seeker, an illegal, anybody who is in this fucking country who is scamming us.
Now, back in 2022, the California auditor came out with this scathing report on hospice fraud, and they came up with a list of about 6 potential warning signs for potential fraud. And we found that 72 of the 89 registered here still have at least 3 of those potential warning signs. If you learn of hospices in your building that are accused of fraud,
I would immediately
terminate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But that hasn't happened yet.
No, no one has ever come to me tell me that.
Well, he got no idea. I mean, this guy just runs a building. Like he's not the police. Like, it's not his job to do this. Realistically, it's not.
Is doing fraud.
And the building owner said he's all in favor of stopping.
Oh, bro, that dude's probably getting some off the top, bro. Get out of here. Come on. They're like, hey, man, I'm going to pay you some extra rent. The guy said, what? Why are you going to do that? We're just really nice. So you're going to be really nice to us too, right? Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. And that's how you make people allow you to do criminal activity. Like maybe possibly no one knows might be happening at that building. So, oh man, it's so good to see more winning, man. More light being shine on the scum of the flippin' earth, bro. Like, thank God, man. Yeah, pretty much wrapped up here, but I did have one more win to highlight that I do believe is important. Right here, man, Mr. Trump. Thanks for coming to the show, by the way. Mr. Trump just signed 2 executive orders that are meant to help people actually be able to buy a home again. So the first one was removing regulatory barriers to affordable home construction, directs agencies to build more homes faster and cheaper. That's right. We got to build, baby. That's what I always say. We're going to build more homes faster and cheaper. It's going to be the cheapest, possibly maybe the cheapest that they've ever been built before. But they won't be built cheaply. They'll just be built for a cheaper cost. All the buildings should be great. There'll be rules and regulations as well. Thanks for that added context. Yeah. So then the second executive order he's signing is promoting access to mortgage credit and expanding home loans. So this is going to make getting a home loan easier, cheaper, faster, especially from community banks. So that's cool, man. That is good for a local community's financial district or, financial health. Community banks are a very good thing for the community. So maybe helping those things stay in business or, do business better, or maybe, bring back some of the ones that closed down recently, because over the last few years, it does seem that banks are consolidating in this time of collapse, or maybe not as drastic as collapse, but contraction. The market is certainly contracting with less children coming around. I still think it's a wild concept that 18 years ago it was 2008. So in 2008, giant financial collapse, economy bad for next 1 to 3 years minimal, less babies probably. So, not to mention just the whole, millennials and zillennials aren't having kids like the old, Gen X and baby boomers. But also, specifically right now, we've got probably the least amount of 18-year-olds in a long time. I'd like to see that stat chart. Probably have the least amount of 18-year-olds than recent history, because 2008, 9, 10, probably most usually tough financial times, like a giant collapse that was the housing market, the lending crash of 08, generally would probably make people have less babies, because, times are tough. So, you ain't going to have a kid. Right. And I thought that was the last one, but one more just to highlight, grab this post on the blog receipts page in the link description box down below. The whole narrative pushing around that, MAGA's dead. You see Tucker, Candace, Megyn Kelly jumping ship and, flip-flopping. Even CNN had to admit it's not quite actually what's happening.
The bottom line is this: if you are a member of MAGA, you approve. And when we look at the numbers, I've heard some people say, when you look at those MAGA numbers, it doesn't account for those who might have left MAGA. But take a look here. Americans who identify as MAGA, in November of 2024, it was 28% of Americans. Now it's basically the same. If anything, it's slightly higher at 30%. The bottom line is this: the MAGA base within the GOP is not shrinking. It's the same size. If anything, it is slightly larger than it was back in 2024, when, of course, Donald Trump won a second term. So that 100% that Donald Trump has approval among MAGA GOP, that is not an artifact of MAGA shrinking. It's just an indication of how strong Donald Trump's grip is on that MAGA base. We mentioned Iran in...
Amen, brother.
the intro of this segment. GOP on U.S. military action.
So now not MAGA,
Look at this.
GOP.
It's 90% approval. It's 90% approval, just 5% disapproval. If you disapprove of the job that Donald Trump is doing, or excuse me, the U.S. military action in Iran, and you're a member of the GOP, look at this. It's your non-MAGA. You're non-MAGA. It's 36% there, 54% approve. But the majority of Republicans approve of the job that the U.S. military action is in Iran, and the majority of MAGA, which is the majority of the GOP, very much approve, 90%. Very little split in.
You know, actually, that chart, how I would put it is we've got MAGA that is 90% approval and 5% disapproval. And then we have the ninnies. The ninnies are only at 52% approval and 36 disapproval. That's MAGA and ninnies, folks. It's not non-MAGA. It's ninnies. Yeah, bro, I feel you, man. I agree with that one, dog. Good call, Mr. Trump. Good call. MAGA versus the ninnies. But yeah, that's all I have got for you, folks. Anything last minute in the live chat that you think needs a little bit more of awareness and mention before I call it a night? Thank you very much for tuning on into the TrutherCast. I very much appreciate you, especially if you hung out to the end of the show. My goodness gracious. I very much appreciate you for spending your time with me. I hope you share this thing out to somebody and help us, grow the, the viewership, man, because, like that awareness brings realization. And, I'm doing my little bit of citizen journalism, or citizen reporting, I guess. I'm not doing the journalism necessarily. I'm looking into it online. I'm not boots on the ground, but, just trying to do my little part here, folks. So definitely make sure to follow the show here if you're on the YouTubes or on the home free speech platform Rumble. If you haven't, hit that follow button so you get notified next week. And, tell the algorithm thumbs up, baby. Thumbs up the show for us, man. Help spreads the word. But much appreciated for hanging out. That's all I got. Thanks again, Mr. Trump, for filling in for Dan. Hopefully he's not so damn busy next week and not sick. And, he can get back to the co-hosting that I much do enjoy. No problem, Scott. You're kind of lucky I was able to even stay to the end here. I was able to delegate a lot of this work I'm doing on signing that Iran peace deal. So my team, a great, wonderful team. They're fantastic. My team is taking care of a lot. But right now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and skedaddle. I'm going to get out of here on Air Force One and get on with my night. But thank you very much, folks, for coming to the TrutherCast. You should most definitely do the follow thing, like Scott said, and share this out to somebody that is maybe a little bit in the middle. They haven't quite joined the MAGA band camp, or maybe recently they're part of that 5% that disagrees with the military actions in Iran. Maybe they could find a little bit more of awareness. Like Scott said, I like that one. Awareness brings realization, folks. Scott told me that. Much appreciated, Mr. Trump. You have a great night, folks. And y'all have a great night, too. And, I'll see you next week, man. I mean, like, we don't have, like, the 2 and the 1 thing like I usually do with Dan. But, hey, we got the 1. And then, there's something else kind of going on. And I think it's like, all right.
Ugh.